It was a fantastic series between the Cubs and the Indians. This is video of them putting the tarp on the field during a 17-minute rain delay last night, Game 7. This was a very stressful time.
Yeah, this added to the intrigue, but again, it didn't last long, and then here we go.
10th inning.
For Cubs fans, this has been a long time incoming. Great news for the Cubs, but I'll tell you what, the Indians played a great series as well. And as we come on out, Miss Velasquez is all decked out. This is vintage, too,
Yeah.
you were telling me, right?
This is now 20 years old.
Oh,
we were
that's
looking earlier.
old.
Well, we looked earlier online and said vintage
true,
was
yeah.
20 years. Okay, so this was actually a gift to me on my 10th birthday, and this is my favorite player, Mark
Okay.
Grace, right?
I do not have any gear today.
No.
I don't. I'm more of a football fan, but you know what? It was part of me wishes I would have stayed up to watch that last night, just because
History.
of how historic that series was. It went to extra innings, and you know what? When you're trying to capture the raw emotion of it, I think we have something that shows that, Laura.
Yeah, so let's show you this video, okay? Look at the screen. Wrigley Field, home of Chicago Cubs. Score, and it goes to Cubs win. And look at all the hands go up in the air. You asked me earlier, how many people?
Yeah, how many people do you think are there at that point?
You know, I mean, we're talking thousands and thousands. I wouldn't be surprised if it was in the tens of thousands out there in Wrigleyville. And just an incredible night. 108 years later, they've got another title.
And you know, what's interesting is that the weather was such a non-factor for much of the series because it was so mild. It's interesting how it just at the last second, Mother Nature added just a little bit of intrigue.
And
there,
it was a relatively
Yeah.
slow game. There were some pauses in it, some pitching changes. Had it been a little bit faster, they may have avoided that rain completely.
And at 1:30, the showers and thunderstorms came in, so a little longer. That would have been more of a problem.
Much of a problem. So let's take you out and show you what it looks like right now.
Yeah, you know,
Two
did
people.
anybody go home? I'm not sure they did.
Well, I did see a little bit of like the taper down because we did have more folks out there at about 5, 6 o'clock this morning. Well, the Cubs actually came back. They arrived back at Wrigley Field about 6 o'clock Central Time this morning. There were some folks out there. Seemed like they tapered off just a bit, and now they are all back, and the festivities just continue. There will be a celebration parade, likely either Friday or Monday. Here's the satellite. Now, this is the back edge of what pushed into Cleveland late last night, caused that bit of a rain delay. We're in the area of drying out right now, in fact clearing out as well. Rain pushes into the northeast. Some of this here into parts of central southern New England will be heavy at times as we head through the afternoon. As we move to the south, this band could eventually produce a little bit of thunder. Right now, just some showers, and some of that could make it toward New York City, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. So here we are at noon today. There's that bulk of the more consistent rainfall there. Here's our band of some showers. Could be some thunder that develops along it. Look at what happens as we take you through the afternoon here. Band continues to push south, but we have a little bit of additional development here. So wouldn't be completely out of the question to see a brief thunderstorm there somewhere up and down the I-95. And then as the front continues to push east, we will eventually dry out many of these locations as we push into the evening hours. And we are continuing to talk about the warm temperatures out ahead, Bernie, of this frontal boundary. And that's the case into the southeast as well.
Yeah, and you can see already lots of sunshine right now. Here's the frontal boundary north of Lexington, north of Nashville, and south of this front. The sun is up and the temperatures are already going through the roof. All of these temperatures are record highs from Shreveport, New Orleans, all the way into the Carolinas, and they all can be broken today. Record high in Atlanta, 82 in 1974. We're going to get awfully close to that, 83 degrees, clouds and sun. No rain to talk about. That has an impact as well. We'll talk about that in a second. 86 in Jackson. Now, Nashville, Little Rock, Dallas, shower, thunderstorm, Dallas. I think you're going to start to dry things out as we go through the afternoon. Tampa toward Miami, it is going to be rain-free. Laura and I, we're specifically waiting for today because we want to show you the difference. Last week, here was the drought monitor. Watch how it changes here. I'm going to click it. Every time I touch the clicker, bad things happen.
But we
we're
can
gonna-
always go backwards.
Yeah, okay. So this was last week. This is what happens when you have hot, dry weather. Look how that whole area has expanded, Laura.
It's expanded, it's filled
Yeah.
in a little bit of the exceptional drought as well. And even though we're talking about this front that's trying to push in, it's really not going to bring us much in the way of rainfall.
Now, this front will bring much cooler air coming into Atlanta tomorrow. In fact, by the time we get in, this front will be pushing into northern Florida.
And it doesn't turn cold, it just turns much more typical of what we would expect for the first weekend of the month of November.
So lots of things to keep an eye on. Stay dry in the Northeast and go Cubs. Congratulations, Chicago.